This is Mr. Mums, the parenting podcast that's as real as the mess in your living room, but way more fun.
Hosted by us,
Demi Duncan
and Melinda Baxter, the proud inventors of the Mr. Formula Feeding Safety Thermos.
We're here to share unfiltered life updates, parenting stories and advice.
Plus, the chaos that comes with juggling 7 children between us while running a business.
So grab a coffee or whatever keeps you going and join us for a laugh.
Because let's face it, we're all just figuring it out.
Our
Today's
conversation
been a day.
just rattled you.
I've only had one tea today. So
Wild.
Don't you have coffee? Do you have just
I
tea?
used to drink coffee, now I just drink tea. I don't know. I didn't even
Tea,
try.
I just can't do it. It's like a dirty
You'll join us.
Yeah,
on
I-
the
bag.
tea.
Are you just tea?
nice.
No, I have a cup of tea at night.
Yeah,
before bed.
like a herbal one?
I can't even
Nah,
drink tea at
like a
night.
normal
I weigh
tea.
too
with
much.
caffeine in it.
Yeah.
I suppose newborn era, you can just like sleep whenever.
I like
Get
tea
us.
with like Tim Tams and no, tea just
5
tastes like
sugars.
a wet bag.
It kind of does. I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
it's
Definitely doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't do it. And like the peppermint and all the
Oh,
flavored
peppermint's so good. Like if
So
I've eaten
shit.
too much chocolate or something, I'm like, I'll have
You're
a
bloated.
peppermint
You have
tea.
peppermint tea.
Oh,
Look at us. You'll get there one day.
no,
10 years.
just coffee. Coffee will do
10
good.
yees you'll be enjoying your chamomile before bed.
Yeah.
I'll be retired.
I'll be 75.
Tell them when. So we want to go to Europe when I finish playing football because I want to go.
But that's, like, so
'cause
far
our
away.
season to go. Like the best time to go is during our footy
She
season.
can't go. Her season.
Yeah.
So
is over
I was
the
like,
summer.
all right, we'll go when I retire. And then I was in the car and I was like,
She goes, we'll go when I'm like 30. And I'll be like, yeah, I'll be 40. She goes, will you still be okay to go then?
Excuse me, we're going to live our best years in our 40s.
Yeah, I'm
I
waiting for
am
the
gonna be
40s.
hot, same.
Tits up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
MILF era. What do you mean? Would you be all right to go to Europe?
we'll be in a
You're going to
visa.
offend a lot of people with that comment.
No, I just meant like you still want to go out and stuff.
Yeah, do you know what? We're actually all three of us are the same age. For the year of our 40th, we want to go to Greece. And I'm like, no children.
Tell booking.
Yeah.
Come.
Like, whenever it needs to be, I'm like, I picture myself dancing on furniture, like
Yeah.
swimming
I'm
that
having my
fucking
top off.
serviette. Yeah, actually.
Will you be okay to go? Because I was supposed to go for my 30th and then COVID hit.
Yeah, same.
Greek
Well, not
Islands.
Greek,
So,
but-
all right, we're all going.
Yeah.
We're going in 5 years.
You can't come. Go to training.
Yeah.
You got the kids style.
Alrighty.
Okay, well, we'll just pretend that we haven't been talking for the last
That's
half
like
an hour.
a funny intro.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
We're just debriefing on the age gap. Let's just
Yeah.
jump straight into it. There's a 10-year age gap, guys.
Yeah.
We don't feel it, do we?
Nah, don't feel it.
The only time, which I think is really common, is when like there's a song on the radio and I'm like, oh, this is so good. And Maddie's like, what?
Yeah, what the hell is this shit?
Or when this is a bit bad. The other day we went to Mother's Day afternoon tea at the kids' school and the teacher goes, we're going to play Kahoot. And Maddie's like, yes, I love Kahoot. And I was like, what
the fuck?
Like she knew a game that my son in grade 5 was going to play. And I was like, what's Kahoot? But it was really fun.
It's fun as.
What gen are you? Like what gen?
She won't know the
2000.
answer to that.
No, but like, no, I know when you
what
were
are we?
born. We're
We're
millennials.
I don't even know what I am.
So there's
We're
Gen Z.
millennials.
Well, you're a millennial. There's Gen Z, Gen X,
I don't. know.
boomers.
Well, whatever.
Don't know. We'll have to
not a
Google it
boomer.
afterwards.
No,
Don't know.
I'm going to Google it.
Yeah.
Google it.
Yeah, we'll Google
No,
it.
but really, like we talk about this quite often. You are, so there's like two versions of Maddie. There's like loose, funny, like sometimes she can just say the most rogue thing. Sometimes she just doesn't process what you say. Or there's like the really intelligent, so mature. You saw us getting ready. I was like, Maddie, can you help me get ready? Like, I don't know what to wear.
Yeah.
Like she cleans the house. She keeps she keeps me organized. She's on schedule. Like she has her own house. There's so many parts of her that are so grown up for a 24-year-old.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't. I was pushing out babies and yet I wasn't even that mature. But then there's parts of me that's like a little kid too, which you always say I'm not like what you thought I would be like.
No, I always said to her the first ever time I met her, I thought you were a real bitch. Like,
Everyone does. And I'm like,
I don't even know. I was like, when I got to know her, I was like, you're actually not a bitch. And she's like, what? I'm like, well, I thought you were, but.
everyone says that. I'm
You
like,
must
what
be giving
do
bitch vibes.
What
Yeah.
do I put out on my Instagram that makes me look like a
know.
bitch?
No,
Or-
nothing. I think like you just intimidating.
Was it from social media? Like you had like
No, I first met her like out. I knew her briefly off social media, but I didn't really know her that well.
Yeah.
And then I just saw her out one night and we just started talking and hanging out, and I was just like,
Within the
she's actually
first
kinda
2
cool.
minutes, she goes, God, you're not like what I thought you'd be. And can you imagine me? I'm like, what do you fucking mean? I was like, I'm a legend.
Yeah, I was like, no offense, I just thought you were a bitch, but you're actually really cool.
I'm glad that you actually said that you, maybe it was just you intimidated by me.
I was just, intimidated.
Because I'm like, I'm actually not. I always say to people, I'm such a loser. Like, I'm such a dork. I am.
Sometimes, yeah.
You're a cool cat.
Yes.
No, I can be such a dork. So I'm like, where does that go to, like, intimidating bitch?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Sometimes I think not that you even really knew from social media, but I'm like, sometimes I think people are intimidated by people on social media anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's really funny, though, because a lot of people that I follow and that I know in the industry are so confident on their camera and so confident, and then you meet them and they're actually really shy. And I can be like that, can't I?
Yeah.
I can be really introverted.
Yeah.
So they're just comfortable in different aspects, but it doesn't mean they're like that when you meet them.
Yeah. So let's go back to that night. And then, so did you have a friendship to begin with?
No, like we knew of each other.
What did we do that night?
That was the first night we kissed.
Yeah, we just
Okay,
kissed.
so you've met, you said, I
Yeah.
thought you were a bitch, and then you've kissed.
So Maddy was actually the first person I kissed when I ended my engagement.
Oh,
A
wow.
few years ago. This is going
Yeah.
back a
Get
few years
out.
ago. Yeah. So I've, come home, spent a couple of weeks obviously curled up in a ball and doing all that. And then Caitlin, one of my best friends, was like, we're going out, and we just had one of those random nights where we were supposed to just go for like lunch and have a few drinks and whatever. And then we end up here. And then
That's what happened to Maddie.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
3 o'clock in the morning, and
Another Maddy.
Maddy Prespakis just walks through, and I went, you look like a fun time. Anyway, that night we literally met at the bar. We were talking. We did shots together. This is years ago, mind you, and shared a little kiss that night. And then we really didn't speak.
Didn't
that much.
speak.
Oh.
And then just became really good friends.
Yeah, went off in different directions for a while. Became friends.
Yeah, so you started with a friendship effectively.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Like you had a good,
So, and then I was in a separate relationship
Yep.
a little bit after that. And then, we were just good mates.
we were friends for what,
Yeah,
2 years or
2
a year and a
years.
half.
Who liked who first?
We always argue over this.
So
because-
liked me first.
No,
Right.
No.
Yes.
I do not argue the fact that I knew that I was developing feelings for
Yeah.
her, but she doesn't know. I'm older and wiser. I could see it all before she even knew it was
Right.
happening.
Yeah.
Right. I get
Like,
it.
I knew there were looks. There was this. There was like she'd always get weird around me. Like we were friends, right? And she'd come into a room and hug everyone, hey, and then she'd go, hey, to me, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it.
So we're kind of in the same friendship group at this stage. But yeah, we became really good friends. I became really good friends with your family, your sisters, like at the footy and stuff like that. And there was a point, I must say, for me, never vocalised any of this, mind you, where I really fell in love with Maddy's family. And I was like, I actually had this first point, probably wasn't about you at the start, but I was like, I'd love them to be my family. Yeah. So it probably wasn't you initially, but I was just like,
You by default, really.
Yeah.
yeah, you kind of just like came with the package.
Just a product of them.
Jodes and Damo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very big on family values. I spent a lot of time with my family. I also saw how much Maddy was involved with her family and super close with them too. So I started to be like, some really good sort of characteristics and traits here. But I was like, oh, it's Mads. She's my mate. Like, you don't think these things are ever going to really happen.
It's like, have you never watched a rom-com? That like always happens.
Well, we say that now. We're like, it's actually like a movie. It's like
Yeah.
we were right in front of each
Yeah.
other the whole time.
Literally.
Well, it's like, you just never think you're going to fall in love with your best friend. Like, I've got 2 other mates and I would never look at them like that.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know. Because initially after we kissed and stuff, like, I just thought, that was it.
Why?
Well, we
And
completely went in
I don't know.
different
It was
directions.
just the time
Yeah.
then. Like, I was sorting out my own stuff and then it probably wasn't the right time. But I really liked being around Sophie and I loved her company. I always wanted to be around her and it was never really early on in that way. And then it was probably towards, after a year or so, I was like, no, I actually always want to be with her. So
And like you would come to me with like really challenging things with football. You kind of always said you liked my advice and
Yeah, quite wise.
my wise in my old age. Thank you. But I also felt this, and as my friend, I felt this like protection of Maddy in terms of her career. Like she's such a talented footballer, and it's weird. The people are going to love this on Instagram, but I almost felt like this mum, like I want to protect you and get you on the right path. You know, Maddy sometimes didn't always make the right decision and was very hard on herself and very down on her self-worth all the time. So I loved being that person for her. And again, this is when we're friends. So I loved being that person to help guide you and get you back on the right path. And I think that's where we developed this such a strong friendship first, which made progressing into a relationship so seamless.
Yeah.
Like so seamless.
I reckon that's so important too, like to have that level of, it's can't happen for everyone.
Yeah.
But like, I think Mitch and I were friends for like 18 months before we actually started dating. Like we would hook up every now and then, but we had a level of friendship, like an understanding of each other, that we'd go to each other for things.
Well, my friends always say like it's so special that you could be friends first and you know each other back to front, because then
When
the
you,
relationship like is bound to work out.
And like especially, this sounds like crass, but especially things when you start dating, like as her friend, I was already farting in front of her. I was already like, oh, I need to do a shit. Like, so we missed all that.
That awkward
that
stuff.
ugly, awkward stage. Like, oh, I've got hairy legs. Like we missed all of that. So the only thing that was sort of missing from us was like the intimacy part, which we hadn't done other than a nightclub 2 years ago. So once that happened, it was so seamless.
Yeah.
It was like, well, we already know everything about each other. We know each other back to front.
And Matt is already around the kids.
Everything.
Like, it wasn't like this big intro thing.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, so many of my friends are like, I wish the person, like they're in relationships and stuff, but it's like, you know, you always kind of meet someone and it's like, well, in the lesbian world, like you kind of start dating 2 weeks later. So it's like you're getting to know each other still for a very long time.
Yeah.
So it's been the easiest, I suppose.
Why does everyone date so fast?
Oh, it's just, I don't know. Don't ask me. Well, I'm not really like, I don't know. I've tried to give some advice to some people that, you know, you should slow down, get to know each other.
Does. We all do it.
We know each other. And it's like, you've been on 3 dates. You don't know each other.
Like, lesbians love each other after 3 dates. 3 dates in lesbian world is 6 months.
And then,
Anyway, so...
Okay, so
I'm trying to think of time. I don't even know timeline.
No, I don't need to know timelines. We're dating, right? You're intimate, you're dating.
Well, there's a but here.
Okay,
though.
where's the but?
There's a knowing very well, again, I'm knowing very well how we feel about each other, but also how dangerous this is because we're such good friends.
Yes.
And I myself wasn't in a position to fuck around again. I'd done that too much. I also knew I dated the wrong people. I'd sort of had my period that I gave myself a bit of grace. Like, oh, you made a few mistakes, whatever. But for me, it was like, I'm not doing this to myself anymore. I'm not doing it to my kids anymore. I'm not doing it to my family anymore. They're getting close to all these people and then poof, disappear. So for me, it was like, I'm actually not dating and I'm doing something for myself that I've wanted to do for years, and I've been waiting on other people's timelines and waiting for the right time in all these people's lives. I was like, I'm having a baby. Now, Maddy, as my friend, already knew that was something I wanted to do. So there's like 2 layers to this. As my friend, she was like, I'm so supportive of you, like so exciting, go for it. But then when we realized how quickly we were falling in love with each other, there was this dangerous territory of like, oh, shit, hang on. Are we going to start dating and a month later you're pregnant? Because it's a very unique situation.
Yeah,
you
I think
probably speak about that more than me.
there was like so much going through my head that I was like, you know, she was like, no, like, you know, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. And it was almost like, is she pushing me away because she actually doesn't want to be with me? Or is she pushing me away because she doesn't think I'm like capable of, you know, stepping into this kind of lifestyle? But then also part of me was also like, fucking hell, how am I going to tell my parents that I've got a girlfriend and then all of a sudden she's somehow pregnant 4 weeks later? Like, do you know what I mean?
That's
I was just
fast
like,
even in the lesbian community.
like
that's
it's just, it's crazy. Like, you know, and then obviously.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
that's
like
a
my,
lot.
Absolutely it is.
Especially your age.
yeah, like me, obviously I'm one of 4 and me and my twin are the oldest. So we don't have any, you know, mum and dad don't have any kids in their life, I guess, so close to them.
Okay, we need to speak about our friends over at Mumamoo.
Oh my God, we are so excited for them. They are launching in over 400 Woolies stores around Australia. We all know how much I love Woolies.
How good is that?
They are
It's so good.
Hustled, and they have done such an amazing job with their brand, their product, and it just speaks volumes how loved their formula is.
Mumamoo infant formula and toddler milk are 100% Australian made. So we know exactly how important it is to do your research about infant formula, having our business.
Absolutely. It's one of our most highest recommended thing to do as someone pregnant.
Yeah. I mean, we put together a formula feeding guide for beginners, and that was one of the biggest things we put in there is do your research, because you just never know when you're going to need it.
One thing we know that's important to parents is 100% Aussie made, Aussie dairy ingredients.
Yeah, agreed. And I love that it's female founded. This is just so amazing because Woolworths is just so convenient, which it's now allowed Mumamoo to just be so accessible.
Not only that, they've been number one on product review for the last 3 years running.
So good.
They are phenomenal.
Goals.
Absolute goals. And on a personal note,
yeah,
the owners are all the most beautiful, supportive, amazing women. They've supported us on our journey.
I feel like they align really well with us. Like we both just genuinely want the best for the customer.
Absolutely.
Like, and that's at the end of the day, like that's all we care about. So you can visit Woolworths now in store and online to see their full Mumamoo range.
Well, first of all, Bobby and Floss, and then, introducing them to mum and dad.
That's separate. Like, this is my partner and she's already got two.
She's got 2 kids and, they loved them and still do. And then all of a sudden, 4 weeks later, by the way, Soph's planning to get pregnant this year. And they're like, cool. Like, but I remember sitting in bed, I was like, fuck, I've got to text them. And I, put up a text and sent it to them. And I was like, oh my God, like waiting for my phone to reply. And it was just literally like a thumbs up, love heart, good job, sounds good, hopes well. And I'm like, oh, they're sweet. And then it was like once Sophie was pregnant, went and told them. And I remember I walked into the house and Sophie wasn't with me. So they were a bit like, what the hell's going on? And then
What's she gonna say?
I was like, I need to talk to you guys. And I was like a bit flustered and they're like, oh no, what's happened? What have you done?
What have you done?
Where's Soph? Like, what's happened? And I'm like, no, nothing bad. I was like, she's pregnant. And then I just started crying. And then mum and dad just both had like tears in their eyes. Mum was like, oh my God. And dad was like, oh my God. And then he just had tears in his eyes and he walked around and he's like, wait, what? Wait, how? And I'm like, fucking I was like, Jesus Christ, Dad. I'm like, but then they were just like, oh my God, that's so good. And yeah, they've been full supportive from the start. Not once they've ever questioned, like, are you sure, this is what you want and all this stuff. It was just, yeah, sounds good. Like, you're going to be great.
It's evidence of the fact what I said before, that I fell in love with this family and I was so drawn, like I'm a bit of a it was all meant to be. Like, I was so drawn to them as a family unit anyway. And then, because I said to Mads, I go, first of all, going back to what you said, I was trying to push Maddy away, not because I didn't love her, not because I didn't want her. I was very hesitant again to bring someone into my kid's life. Like, I was not going to tolerate that anymore, of people coming in and mistreating me and therefore mistreating my children. But it was more for her. I was like, you don't need this. You do not need to sign up for 2 kids and a baby. You don't, I love you. I love you so much and it's going to kill me, but it was going to be the hardest thing for me. And I tried so hard to push her away. I really did. And the person that she is just kept, and there was times where you're like, no, you're right. Like, this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
And she just kept coming back. And there was this moment I remember where I sort of said, like, Mads, it's done. And it killed me. And I said, it's done. We can't, like, I'm having a baby. You don't need, it wasn't me wanting to push her away. I said, you don't need this. And she burst in my front door one day and I was laying in bed. She just cried on the end of my bed and she said, I want it all. I'll do anything. Like, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Literally a movie.
Yeah,
I know.
And she just, she sobbed and she said, I want everything. I want it all. If it's you, I don't care. I love those kids. I love you.
Yeah.
That's so
crazy.
Is that in your personality?
Yeah, I'm like quite a soft person. Most people think I'm real hard, but I'm really soft.
She is.
I'm like my dad. He's a very soft person.
Yeah.
Not soft.
We get emotional, but just very loving. Like, my parents say the best trait of all their kids is very different, and my best trait is they've always said I've got a heart of gold.
And you got a lot of love
initially,
to give.
like when I was younger, I was like thought of having kids, fuck that. Like, I don't.
Which is normal
just,
for
you know.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't even want a dog in my life. Like, I didn't want anything. Like, I just wanted to do my own thing. And, you know, mum and dad were always so convinced that I was going to be the kid in the family that just wouldn't have kids. Like, and, yeah, and then when I met Soph and started falling in love with her, I was like, oh, my God. And there was times when I would go home and I'd be like, she's right. Like, you know, I probably can't look after 3 kids. Like, it's just not something I can do.
Sorry, I just want to interject there. I've also I had made sort of a thing that if you are here, you're in, because I'd allowed a lot to go on in my past relationships where looking back, I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. If you're dating me, you are in, you are here, you are responsible, and you're not leaving. Well, I'd been the one to end the relationships, but you're not. It's not just an open door policy here. Like, I was like, no bullshit anymore. And so my expectations of Maddy or whoever I was going to date in the future were up here now.
Yeah.
And that was it. There was nothing less.
Rightly so.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm annoyed at myself, but it's also life experience that of who I had been in the past. So yes, there was going to be a lot of expectations and pressure on Maddy. So hence why I was like, it's okay if it's not it. And how many people, again, I say this shows her character and how special of a human she is. It's not like a straight couple, right? We start dating, we get pregnant. It's your responsibility too. We did it. Oops, we're going to do it together. Like, to come in and choose to be there by choice with no ties, like nothing actually holding you there, takes a really, really, really special person.
Yeah.
You're going to get all embarrassed. Like, she's made a choice.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure people are there, oh, she's under so spell and I've got it. What do they say? I've got you in a headlock or escape from Sophie. Like, escape. But it's like, she's chosen to be here on her own and to help me raise these children, and she does a fucking amazing job at it.
Anyone listening right now with the story that you've just told can't
argue it.
Can't argue that.
No.
Like, yeah.
Well, Floss thinks I make the best lunchboxes for school. So.
She does. And
Maddy, how have you gone, like, adjusting? I know you were in the kids' life as a friend and whatnot, but how have you gone to, like, making lunchboxes and, like, full-blown, I'm going to say mum life, parent life, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, even as an athlete, you not become so selfish in a way, but a lot of what you do is you have to do it for yourself.
100%.
So, you know, a lot of my life was quite selfish in a not malice way, but it was just for how do I get the best out of myself. And then all of a sudden when you've got kids, which all parents would say is all of a sudden you have to think about them before you in a lot of ways. And I'm really lucky. I was raised by a really good mum. Silly's a great mum, and she's very organised, and she was very hard on us in different ways, like cleaning and all that stuff. And I think I'm a product of legit my mum. I run like a tidy ship. Like, I love a clean house. I like being organised, like having the school kids' clothes ready the night before, their lunchboxes done.
She does lunchboxes, school drop-off every morning.
Yeah. So I don't know, like, I just feel like it has come very natural. Like, in some mornings I'm like, oh my God, like early on I was like, this is harder than I thought. But it's come pretty natural because, like, in football it's pretty much the same. Like, you have to be ready the night before and have all your stuff organised. So it's kind of been, an easy transition. But it's definitely been different. Like, weekends of kids sport and looks a little bit different.
But you get enjoyment out of it.
But yeah,
too.
like, I love it.
She loves it.
Yeah. So it's been different, but I think, having like the mum that I have it was almost, I was supposed to be sort of a parent that she is.
Yeah. She'd love to hear that. That's so nice.
What about telling your kids and telling the kids?
Yeah. So again, I've sort of had a lot of trauma surrounding that because, and I have spoken about this, and again, I don't want to like go revisit my past all the time, but people with kids can relate. Like, when you're dating, people come in and then they think when it ends, it's just like you. It's like, no, you came into their life too. And so my wall that was up really wasn't to do with me. It was all my kids, wasn't it? Like I said, this is not happening to them again. Like, I'm angry. I'm not even sad anymore. I'm angry. And not that I ever thought in a million years Maddy, who I knew was this incredible person and had such strong values, would do that. But I was just scared. Like I was just like, and also then bringing a baby and growing an attachment with a baby and then, it doesn't work. You know, I just had fear for my kids, nothing to do with me. What I've learned is, and I say this to Maddy and it scares her a little bit because she's like, if we ever broke up, would you be sad? And I'm like, yeah, I'd be sad, but I'd be fine. Like I've always learned that I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like I will be okay.
Yeah.
I am like as rock. Maddy used to call me like so cold at the start. And I'm like, I am, because it's a product of what I've sort of had to deal with. Like cold as fuck, like a hard rock sometimes in my chest. Do you remember that time we were laying on my bed and I said, I just felt something in my chest? And she was like, did it just like get a bit soft? I was like, I think it did. Like I couldn't feel anything for so long. And you just kept chipping away. But yeah, that sounds horrible. It's nothing against Maddy. It's who I am. Like I'll always be fine, but I was just not having it done to the kids anymore. So I was I just remembered. I said to Maddy, when we were clearly in love, we're going to be together, I'm having a baby, all this stuff, I said, I will not be with you. Floss is like, la, 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 I love Maddy. I said, I will not be your girlfriend until Bobby gives me permission. And Bobby did not give me permission for a while.
Oh.
No. He said no. Yeah. And I said, well, Bobby's got the choice.
Yeah.
So until Bobby, and that wasn't like Maddy's not allowed to come around here or Maddy's is. Yeah. But until I had my son's blessing to enter another relationship and fully bring someone into his life, I said to Mads, no, it's not going to happen.
Is he just like fiercely protective of you?
Yeah, but I think, and this breaks me, he's been hurt. He's been hurt too. So he's a bit older than Floss again. He's just like, la, la, let's dance and sing and all this stuff. But it was evidence to me he's been hurt. And I said, Mads, it's not going to happen until he says yes.
So he loved you as a friend. He was like happy to have you around as a friend.
He loves Maddy more than me now. Yes. But you're not going to hurt my mum.
Yeah. Fair.
And you had, do you want to talk about when you...
No, I just told him.
Tell the story. It's so nice.
Why? I was just sitting out there with him and then I just told him, I said, I love you guys and I want to be with your mum and I won't hurt you. And he said, okay. And then he gave me a hug and that was it.
I think we'll all go away loving Maddy more.
Yeah.
I know.
Not more than you, just more.
No, my family like her more than me. Everyone does.
I think we all need a Maddy.
How nice for me to have a partner that everyone in my life loves.
Totally.
Like I'm fine with it. I'm good.
My family love you too.
Yeah, I love them so much.
A lot of love.
Yeah. A lot of love. Love is love.
Love is love. Yeah, it's just... And we kind of really quickly had this moment with that type of stuff, the families intertwining and it just being so easy. It was just like this was meant to be moment.
Do you ever talk about marriage?
Absolutely. I would marry her tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah.
I tell her that all the time.
It's not going to happen tomorrow. But
Well, you've done everything else.
And when I say that, despite my past, marriage again has scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, well, I remember you saying that.
Yeah. Despite once being engaged, actually marriage scared the living hell out of me. And there was parts of me that was like, I'll probably never do it again.
Yeah, okay.
I would have married Maddy the day after Bobby gave me permission to be her girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like that's how absolutely certain she gets so shy when I talk about this.
gosh.
All right, today I'm stopping the pod because I genuinely need to talk about my happy place.
What is it?
Upstate Studios.
I knew you were going to say that. We've both been going for years.
Yeah.
And I would say that I think it's the versatility of all the different class types that keeps us wanting to go back.
Yeah, absolutely. And also it's just fun. I think what's the most important thing is that there is something for absolutely everybody. There's boxing, hot Pilates, yoga, sound bath, meditation, reformer.
I'm obsessed with boxing. I love boxing. When I explain to people that I love the boxing, they're like, oh, I don't really like boxing and partner work. And I'm like, no, it's not that type of boxing.
No.
I'm like, it's all just this sequence that you just follow, but it's to the beat of the music and it's just fun and I don't know, you just get a big ooh. So here's the best part. Because of our love for Upstate, they are giving our listeners a discount. 30 days of unlimited classes for $29.
There's 12 studios around Victoria, so I'm sure that you'll find one near you. And Geelong Matt Studio just had a full-blown glow-up.
Upstate is like your one-stop shop.
Yeah, like literally they even offer courses on becoming a Pilates instructor, so you can become an instructor at Upstate, and they also have international retreats. In our show notes, I've popped a link, so follow that through.
And then use code MR at checkout to get your $29 pass for unlimited classes.
See you in class.
Early on, I was just like, why the hell did you choose me kind of thing? Like, you know, like what actually... I don't know. I was like, you're just so amazing. You're hot as fuck. Like, you could be with someone just crazy good.
That's you.
Yeah.
That's you. After just talking to you.
There's this funny part initially when we're intimate.
Oh God. This is yeah, I remember it.
No, Maddie's just like, oh, you know, she comes across this big energy. She's very she's very self-conscious. She's always doubting herself and all of this stuff. She truly doesn't realise what we see. She goes like, oh, I don't know, like I just don't look like any of the other girls you've dated. And I said, well, maybe I was doing something fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Because how did that work out for me? Maybe we're onto something here. Maybe that's where I went wrong. Because
You
how
just
did that
needed
go?
a 5 foot
chalky. That's exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
So Maddie definitely has her moment. We both do. Like, I know I can speak on my insecurities is the age gap. Absolutely. Very often we take a photo together and I go, oh my God, yuck, I look so old. Or, oh my God, no, I'm such a mum. Obviously I love being a mum. Or like when I think, okay, Maddie, you're 24 now, but I say you're like the head of like a 28, 29-year-old. But I'm like, okay, you at 30, right? And I was like, I'm 40, and then you at 40, I'm 50. I'm like, you're just going to leave me for some young, fresh titties.
No, you're going to have the last laugh.
Little, you know, booty shaking, whatever. And I'm like, oh, my knee, help me stretch my leg. And then your insecurity.
Yeah, I just said that. I was just like, I don't, like, you're everything that I want. Like, why do I need anyone else?
Why do you need young, fresh titties when you got these ones?
You're more than fine.
More than fine. Oh, that's what a compliment.
You're perfect. You're fine.
You'll do.
No, you're great. You're amazing. I wouldn't be with you otherwise.
Yeah. So, yeah, we certainly do have our own insecurities in it.
Everyone does.
Yeah, I think everyone does.
Yeah, I was like, there's so many moments that I was just like, early on I was like, oh, like so exciting. Oh my God, baby. And then when started like setting up our room and like actually buying baby stuff, I was like, oh my gosh. And then, you know, setting up things. And then we got like a doula in because I have no idea about labour and what to expect. And I'm petrified of needles. So like, what am I going to see in the room? And then I just had like, I started having these moments probably like a couple months away from her being born that I was like, I don't know if I'm going to love her. Like, I don't know if she's going to love me. Like, how am I going to see her? Like, will I see her as, you know, one of mine? Like, I don't know. What's my connection going to be kind of thing? Like, you know, it's very different because
I assured her at the time everything she was feeling was totally normal.
Totally.
And
totally understandable.
the doula actually made a good point. She was like, you know, like any husband or partner or same like lesbian couple, gay couple, whatever, the person that's not carrying the baby always has that anxiety of how am I going to feel? Because naturally the mum carrying the baby is going to have the greater connection very early on. And I was like, when she kind of said that, I was like, oh, that's true. Like I didn't think of it like that. But obviously, you know, biologically she's just not mine. So I'm like, I don't know.
Can we confirm that biologically not Maddie's
You're not the baby daddy?
Yeah, no, not the baby daddy.
Didn't work like that.
Didn't work. But I was, I had some serious anxiety about it. Like, I don't know how I'm going to feel. And then it was the moment of obviously when she was born, once, you know, it was like the moment as soon as her head came out, I was like, oh my God, like, and I just started crying. Like, I was like, I love her so much. Like
it was
and
instant.
I let go of Soph's hand and gave her to floss and I just had to watch it. I was like, this is just, and yeah, as soon as I held her, I was like,
I think
my
it's
God.
important to talk about, especially for same-sex relationships, because it would be so common. Obviously, the part being we didn't go into having the baby together. So there was already that disconnect for Maddy.
Yeah.
I wasn't part of the process with you. I wasn't part of the donor selection with you.
Or even the decision, like you had made the decision on your own.
The decision itself
you know?
was made, and it was happening too. That's what I probably didn't say before. It was happening too, whether we were together or not.
Yeah.
Like, non-negotiable. Yeah. So she wasn't part of the process. She wasn't part of the appointments, the selection, the decision as a whole. So there was already that disconnect, I think, naturally, which again was fine. Very unique situation. Hey, I love you. We're dating. I'm pregnant. And so then, in the lead up, Maddy was high, low, high, low with emotions, which I continued to assure her was so normal, because there were times where she was anxious as hell. I don't know if I can do this. Like, I'm scared. I'm petrified. Do I want this?
Yeah.
But then being so hard on herself, feeling like I'm a horrible person
For feeling
this
Yeah.
way. And I was like, you're not. And, you know, she's thinking I'm going to break up with her because she's having doubts about her worth as raising a kid, or do I want this for my life? And I just kept saying, everything you're feeling is normal.
Yeah.
This is such a unique situation. No one would expect you to be like, yep, I've signed up for a pregnant girlfriend and I'm so excited in every capacity for my whole world to change.
Well, it was even just the simplest things. I was like, God, I've never changed a nappy before. Like, I don't know what to do if a baby's crying. I don't know how to put her in a car seat. I don't know how to make a bottle. And I was just like,
but it was
what the
deeper
hell?
than
Like,
that, Mads. It was the fears of,
it was fears, I think.
do I want this actually for my life now? Like,
Yeah.
this is scary. And I would say to her, as you guys would know, even when you're pregnant, you go, oh, why'd I do this? Like, sometimes.
Thinking that this whole time.
Yeah.
And I can confirm with you, I gave birth to my children, and when I first became a mum, and it took me like weeks to feel that connection. And you didn't give birth, and you felt it instantly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's got nothing to do with giving birth. It's
And this is all the stuff I would try to explain to her. I was the same with Bobby. I had really bad postnatal depression. I would look at him as a baby sometimes and feel nothing, zero. But you can explain that all you want to someone. They need to go through their own journey and their own experiences. And I kept saying to her, I know you feel, and we did. We rode the waves. Plus me being a hormonal pregnant person, you can imagine. So there were times where it was a challenge and it was a lot for us to work through. But I kept saying to her, I have no worries. Like, I am not worried. I have such strong belief in you. Like, you are going to be fine. And like what you were just saying, I'm pushing her out. And I'm talking Maddy even 2 days before, I think, I hope you don't mind me sharing, but like bordered on having a panic attack. When my induction was booked in, like a really big moment of, okay, it's real. There is actually a human about to come into my world. Again, it's okay. This is normal. Even the day of the induction, I was like, oh God, Jesus Christ.
I think it was like, the alarm went off and we're laying in bed, and so it's like, we're going to have a baby. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But I just remember coming home and I just was like, I'm scared. Like, I just started crying.
That's what it was. That's why your emotions erupted, because she'd felt like this for quite a while and she hadn't shared it with me because she felt bad to share it with me. But I could sense, I was like, something is going on. Yeah. So I think, and then in the moment I birthed her, so I'm pushing, my eyes are shut, blah, blah, blah. And then I open my eyes when her head's come out, and the tears and the love I could see on Maddy's face, and for me pushing her out, I literally went, oh, she's fine. I knew it. I knew she'd be fine. I saw the love instantly. I saw the way she looked at this baby and at me giving birth. And I just went, I knew it. I knew she'd be fine.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think it's like you don't trust your capacity to love.
Yeah.
I think like that could be what it is as well. You're like, you just don't trust yourself when it's like, of course the baby's going to love you.
Yeah.
Like, of course it's going to come that way, but you just didn't try. Like, you'll find the next baby you have and the one after that, it's like, you'll just naturally, that will be a completely removed fear because you're like, I know how much I can love. Like, and loving
like
a baby is a completely different thing to
and
loving
when I love
a partner.
like something I love
Hard.
with my whole heart, like
Yeah.
I'll give everything.
Yeah.
Like quite similar. Like that.
Like I love my family, and like there's nothing that would get in front of my family. Like I would do anything for them, and then obviously I love Soph and the kids just as much. So it's like as soon as she come out, like even during the day, the process of labour and the water's breaking and all that stuff. Like, it was amazing to watch, but I was like, there was moments during the day when I was overwhelmed. I was like, oh my God, like kind of counting down the hours. I was like, okay, like she's probably going to be here soon. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't know. Like, do I hold her hand? What do I do? Like, and then it was the moment like when Soph was like, I don't know. I think the whole time just watching Soph, you know, go through the different pains and waves of labour, I was just like, wow, like this is what an amazing mum looks like. And, you know, like she had her 2 kids there and know how much, obviously I see firsthand how much she does for those kids. And I knew that I was going to be a great mum, a product or a parent, a product of my mum, but also I've got a great one next to me. So I was like, in a way I wasn't too worried about that. But I was just like, and then when the midwife come in and said, she's coming, I was like, oh shit, she's coming. Like, I was like, oh God.
Maddie did learn a lot about labour though. Do you remember how I knew she was coming?
Yeah, she said, I think she's coming out my ass. And I was like, what? Like,
I just kept farting. It had been such a slow labour. I got induced in the morning. It was slow and boring. And again, mind you, Mads is probably like this because I told her like, it's pretty intense. Like, you know, I've been ripped here. I've had stitches. I've had big salad tongs put inside
things,
me.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus.
You know, screaming like, on all fours and la la la. This, I couldn't have given Maddy a more like basic labour experience. So even afterwards I go, I feel like I kind of jibbed you. Like that sort of wasn't real. It was the smoothest experience I'd ever had. And my other ones were beautiful, but like Bobby was 26 hours, forceps, 3 hours pushing. Floss was 12 hours, big internal tears, pushing for an hour. This one was induced, so obviously we're more, you know, looked after. Like it was probably better for Maddy. She was very anxious about like if my water's broke in the middle of the night and her having to drive the car and me screaming.
I was like, I think I said to her afterwards, I'm like, I think that like I've seen enough. Like I think that was perfect.
No, you said it was a good introduction.
Yeah, I was.
But yeah, it was slow. So it was like 11 hours of just like labouring, but not labouring, like slow. There was maybe a couple of hours there of like I'm in pain. Yeah. But it was slow and it was boring. And my obstetrician said to me, we're here to have a baby, so let's like speed this up because I didn't want the drip, the hormones. I just wanted to go, just broke my waters and I just wanted to go. Anyway, nothing was really happening. I was like, right, we're here to have a baby. I had the kids there as well, so it was getting a long day. Anyway, so I had the epidural just to I was in a lot of pain at that stage actually.
Yeah.
What are you laughing
The epidural to watch is just crazy.
Maddie doesn't
I hate needles, so I just couldn't watch it. So I've got my head in Soph's lap, just holding her, and she's crying. I'm like, you're doing great. Like,
But she's crying too, going.
I'm like, no, I just can't look at needles. I don't know why,
like that
but
big.
like I can get tattoos and piercings, and I'm like, but a doctor's needle, it's like, don't bring it anywhere near me. Like,
yeah, so I get the epidural and they like, you're only 5 centimetres and I'm so depleted. I'm like, oh my God, like come on. I said, all right. I sent the kids out to the pub with my 2 best friends who were in the room too. I said, you guys go have dinner. We've been here all day. Mads is curled up on the dad chair in the corner and I've literally rolled over. I was like, let's have like 2 hours sleep or something. They're like 5 centimetres. Honestly, it was again like a movie. They leave. They've probably gone like 5-10 minutes and I start just, these farts are just coming out of me. And Maddie's like, are you farting? I'm like, I am. And they're coming out like crazy. And then I literally, my brain went, oh no. Because I know that when baby's moving down, it just pushes everything out. And I was like, Maddie, I think the baby's coming. And she's like, no, they said it'll be a couple of hours. And I was like, no, but there's something about to come out my ass. Like I had that pressure, even though I had the epidural actually, which in the past have completely numbed me. I haven't felt anything. I don't know if they do them differently these days or something. I could feel my whole body but just no pain. So I could move and everything. I was like rolling on the side, lifting my legs. It was amazing. So I could literally feel her moving down and I'm feeling this pressure at my ass and I was like, Mads, she's coming. And can you imagine, Maddie? It's her first time. She's like, no, they just said that.
Well, it was like 5:38 or something, and the lady previously just said, look, it's probably looking around 7 or 8. She'll be here. I was like, all right, like, that's good. Still a couple more hours.
She was born at 5:58.
What the hell?
She was on my chest at 5:58. Yeah.
So you rang the kids and be like, turn around.
Come back.
So anyway, I didn't want to even – it's just so funny in that situation as women. We're like, oh, I feel bad, but can you check me again? I knew in my soul she was coming, but I was like, Mads, maybe ask her to come back and check me within 5 minutes. And I felt like an idiot getting her to check. And she checked and she's like, oh, no, you're 10 centimetres. Like, I'm telling you, I went 5 to 10, like that.
Wow.
And I was like, I knew it. And you imagine Maddy, she's like, what? I just sat down. Like, what do you mean? And I was like, and I actually said, it looks like it's just going to be you and me, because I could feel her. I'm like, I said to the midwife, again, I asked permission. Can I push? Like, it was my body. I should have just listened to it. And she's like, if you feel like you need to push. I'm like, well, I do. So I actually started pushing before the kids even came back. But I said, Mads, text Jess, my friend, and I said, just say baby's coming. Like, don't, hey, you might want to come. I just said, baby's coming. Like, she's going to be here real quick. And Jess thought you were taking the piss.
She rang me. She's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. And then they were in the pub and they were like, cancelled their order and they all ran back.
Sprinting up the street. But I settled in that moment for the fact that I'd had my kids there for 11 hours to see this and they were going to miss it. Because I did. I was pushing before they walked in, and then as I'm still pushing, I hear them sneak in. Oh. And then Floss's famous line.
Floss, yeah, this was the funniest part. They made it in and
they were being ushered in quietly by Caitlin.
Sophie had said to me that she's like, have I shit? And I'm like, yeah, you've shit. And then Floss comes running in and the kids are like, shh, shh, shh. And then all you hear is Floss go, I don't mean to be rude, but it smells like shit in here. And then the midwife turned around and goes, that's because mummy has done a shit, sweetie. Keep pushing. She
said poo.
You just hear Bob like, shh, Floss.
It's so rude. Stop it.
And then they come over and
literally like 2 pushes later, she was out.
Yeah.
So I was like, for me, it was like, oh, my kids aren't going to be here. My eyes are shut, mind you, and I can hear like footsteps. And then I hear I don't mean to be rude.
That is so funny.
I was like, they made it. That's my girl. They made it.
You should put that on a necklace.
Yeah. Oh, it was one of the funniest things.
She tells everyone that story too.
But she was just like, and I'm like, and you could just hear Bobby like, Floss,
my appropriate boy.
Yeah. And then they come over and they're both holding Soph's hand.
Bobby and you cut the cord together?
Yeah, cut the cord.
It was just a love though. Yeah. Like I saw the love in Maddie's eyes. So yeah, for me, despite the fact I'm pushing a baby out my fanny hole, in that moment I opened my eyes, one, to check Bobby because he always wanted to be at the hospital in the room, but he was like, I'm just not sure how I'll go. And that's why Caitlin was there, my friend, with him, because if he wanted to step out at any stage he could. And I always said, whatever's comfortable. Yep. So in that moment, my 2 thoughts were, is Bobby okay and is Maddy okay? Yeah. Even though I'm giving birth. And that's just how we roll. So I sort of looked at Bobby and his face was like this. I was like, right, he's good. Looked at Maddy like this, sobbing. Like, I'm like, right, everyone's good. We can have this baby now. Let's go.
Yeah.
And since then, has your anxiety just just disappeared?
Yeah, like, I mean, every day is different, I guess. Like, it's not something. The first few weeks were a challenge, like, but I thought the first week or so was good. We were in the hospital, just me and Soph. So it was like a nice little introduction
in a safe space,
safer space. Like, if we needed help or if I needed help, like, I could ring a nurse or something like that. And I got to see what it was like, I guess.
Yeah, what the go was.
And it was nice just to spend time, just us two, to kind of soak it in. And then it was like, I think the day we were leaving, I just said to her, I'm like, I'm really nervous about going home. Like I was packing everything up and I was like, oh God, like we're going home, and, putting her in the car for the first time, driving with a baby for the first time. Like, there was so many thoughts going through my head that I was like, oh my God, like,
but that's
it's just going to be me.
Everyone.
I was going to say, that's something I've had to manage. Yes, it's my 3rd pregnancy. And by the 3rd, you're like, whatever, under the arm.
Yeah.
But I've always had to be, and I hope I have been respectful to the fact it's Maddie's first experience.
Yeah.
So I always said to her, I will help, like, teach you things or show you things, but I really want you to learn your own way. And there's already things Maddy does completely her own. For instance, Essie will fall asleep like that on Maddie's chest. She snuggles up to her neck. She's never done that to me. Yeah. So like there's little things that Maddy will do and has her own sort of flow. And I said to Maddy, I said, I want you to sort of hold me accountable to that. If you ever find that I'm overbearing or trying to tell you, I said, I want you to pull me up on it, because I have to respect this as your first experience, and to have a bit of, I can't expect, I can expect Maddy to come in and love me and love Bobby and Floss. I can't expect her to know how to look after a newborn or to know how to adjust to those sleepless nights or the screaming or the crying. And I think we can confidently say there's only in nearly 4 months, one night, and it was probably like 3 nights after we got home at like 3 o'clock in the morning. We were like, no, like that at each other.
Yeah.
And the next day I said, we can't do that. That's not going to, no, that's not benefiting anyone.
That's also so fair 3 nights after getting home.
Yeah.
I think we're just exhausted.
Like as opposed to 3 nights ago.
Yeah.
Like that is so fair. That is the same as any household that's brought home a newborn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that what you just said, we know so much of this stuff is normal. So I find the balance in so many life situations being like, oh, Maddy, it's normal. But then being like, no, well, it's not normal to her.
Yeah, it's new.
Yeah.
It's new to her. So I need to allow her to feel those feelings and not dismiss them.
Yeah. That's a wrap on another Mr. Mum's ep.
If you find yourself with a spare 2 seconds, we'd really appreciate a rating or a review to help new listeners find our podcast.